Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Your Excellency, Mr. Peter Zinotti, the High Commissioner of Solomon Islands and the Chair for PIDF, the delegates from Pacific Island countries and territories, CEO, MSF, Deputy Secretaries, Directors, ladies and gentlemen, Bula Vinaka, and very good morning to you all. It gives me great pleasure to join you here at the opening ceremony of the Pacific Island International Maritime Organization Technical Officers Workshop. Let me begin with extending a warm welcome to all executives, professionals and experts, technical officers, including participants from your respective agencies and Pacific Island countries. I'm extremely pleased by the strong interest shown in the 10 hours today. I believe the commitment you continue to show will enable us to lay out a platform for sharing the knowledge, ideas, and experience in developing the strategic IMO roadmap. This roadmap will map out our contribution towards the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions within the international maritime sector. The Fijian government, through the invaluable support of the government of France, is proud to support the Pacific Island Development Forum, PIDF, in hosting this workshop. The two countries have entered into the administrative agreement signed last year to further strengthen partnership in the reduction of GHG emissions from international maritime sector. This partnership will enable better representation in Pacific Island countries at IMO meeting in London. This workshop today will involve deliberations on matters surrounding GHG emissions reductions within the international shipping sector. In this regard, I wish to acknowledge the presence of experts from the Marine Safety Authority of Fiji, University of the South Pacific, Micronesian Center for Subsistence Transport, and University College of London, who will be actively engaged as guest speakers throughout this 3 days workshop. As you are aware, this year is an important one for the IMO, as the adoption of an integral strategy on GHG emissions reduction will take place in April. As COP President, Fiji is all too aware of how critical it is for all sectors to play their part in keeping global temperature rise to no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius. At Bonn, Fiji, along with your representative leaders, spoke strongly on the need for all sectors and actors to take part immediate in significant actions to address this. Our presence at the IMO in April this year will give us another opportunity to reiterate the sentiment of our leaders. Through this workshop, you are expected to collectively make formal contribution on technical papers that could further discuss to adopt at IMO. In terms of national determined contribution, Fiji has two relevant outcomes outlining us in the medium term. Firstly, the obligation of the maritime sector to contribute the global effect to reduce GHG emissions, whereby all stakeholders are required to take appropriate actions to progress low carbon maritime transport in Pacific Island region. Second, the reduction of reliance on imported fossil fuel and greater energy security. In doing so, we are clearly stepping towards the addressing nations and regional climate change issue, hence contributing to global effect to reduce GHG emission. The Fijian government commitment to reduction of GHG emission is now an integral part of our 5-year and 20-year national development plan, which focus on strategies to achieving a sustainable transport sector. To name a few, the strategy includes supporting the translation towards the low-carbon sea transport future, improving and operating efficiency of vessels, introducing age limit on second-hand vessels, supporting technological innovations such as having better hull and propeller design to ensure fuel saving. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to commend the action undertaken by other Pacific countries like Marshall Islands and Solomon Islands. These two countries, through the support of regional and international development partners, have taken a lead in promoting the reduction of GHG emission from international shipping. The international shipping is one of the significant emitters and is predicted to increase over time. Our connectivity with the rest of the world is essential, and it is important that the Pacific Islands are well represented and unified in IMO meetings. We are all maritime people, and with our country surrounded by the ocean, we are therefore vulnerable to the impact of sea level rise, which can come about through the increase of global temperature. Furthermore, shipping is critical for our survival. So the key question for this workshop is how we can effectively align ourselves towards the IMO target on GHG emissions reduction without compromising the transport need of our small island state. That's a challenge for you. This is our opportunity to talk openly and honestly to each other, discuss issues that we face, and plan together to work ahead. On this note, I wish you all well and your deliberation and hope for this successful 3-day workshop a successful one. Thank you. Pinakabakuleo.
Sayandra, and welcome to Fiji for those of you who journeyed for this workshop. Assistant Minister, Infrastructure and Transport, Honorable Vijay, Nath, distinguished participants, all protocols are observed. Time is not on our side for me to repeat and mention all of you that have been here in whatever position you represent your countries or organizations. But first, on behalf of the PIDF and Solomon Islands, as the current chair of PIDF, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this workshop. I also extend to you the greetings from the Secretary General of the PIDF, who is not able to be with us today. Distinguished participants, this is the latest in a series of events that PIDF has hosted since 2013. In response to Pacific leaders identifying sustainable transport as one of the top 10 priorities for the PIDF to tackle, with international shipping emissions being an important component of that. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the IMO Intersessional and Marine Environment Protection Committee meetings, which starts in April this year, 2 months away, are of great importance to our region and the world. I need not remind you all of our leaders' commitment to what they have coined in 2015, the 1.5 degrees to stay alive, and which was reiterated in the Tony de Broom Declaration led by France, signed over by 35 countries in Paris in December last year. Doing all we can to get a commitment at the IMO in April that keeps open that possibility is what lies ahead of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the April meetings are going to involve making some tough decisions. We also know that there are other IMO member states whose focus is on protecting their trade and economies and not on ensuring the survival of our Pacific Island states and the rest of the world's coastal communities. This means that we will have to make sure our voices are heard, that we can defend our position, and that we actively engage with other like-minded IMO member countries and rein in the support of other IMO member states or parties who have yet to be convinced on the importance of reduction in greenhouse gas emissions under the IMO, which is very difficult because in all the previous conventions, shipping emission was not captured under the mainframe International Convention on Climate Change. And this is the first time that we're trying to, I think quite a few years back, if not in the last year, we managed to put in and put it on the agenda of the IMO per se as an issue because of it not being captured under the UN Convention on Climate Change in itself by proper. PIDF has been clear since its first briefing that this process was going to be long and increasingly technical. What is decided at the next IMO meeting will largely answer the question as to whether shipping is to play its full role under the agreement we all forged in Paris. It is important to stress that this is a working meeting, this meeting that we are on or that you will be participating in. Today is about information and updating us on where we are and how we got here. But tomorrow and day 3 are for you as technicians to strategize for the next critical session of IMO and work out how we will stay fully engaged thereon or therefrom. This workshop finally is for you. It is your opportunity to ask the questions you always wanted to ask but didn't, to talk openly and honestly with each other and to share your views and expectations. Most of all, it is your opportunity to plan for the April meetings, which is coming up, and the longer-term IMO emissions roadmap process out to 2023. This is a lot of work. Finally, we have access to some of the best world experts to help us through our regional university and PIDF, so let's make use of them. And on this note, and it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge, and it's difficult to repeat all of them, but if you look at the back on the screen, those are the ones I'm referring to, who have assisted PIDF and the university as the USP, as the only 2 parties here. The rest, and of course with the French embassy who's participating in this and which has been acknowledged by the assistant minister in partnership with the government of Fiji. So to repeat, I must acknowledge the contribution and the assistance rendered through and by the organizations that have helped us here. And in particular, I have been associated with a number of these, especially with the University College of London, who made a presentation to the Secretariat in a not too distant past, which was very useful and exercise for members of the PIDF who were resident in Fiji. Finally, I hope that you will find these next few days provide a valuable opportunity to work together on this common issue of such critical importance to our region. My job is very easy, and now declare the workshop open. Vinaka.